first half of the 2024 1-Up Turbo Truck Series season provided some great racing action over those first 10 races, and now we get the final 10 started here at Indianapolis Raceway Park for race number 11 of the season. We only have 3 races remaining until the playoffs get started, 2 after the checkered flag flies tonight. And we've got a lot of good racing in store over the course of the next 80 laps here at this just over a half-mile short track. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is our inaugural Truck Series champion, Ryan Griffin, with us once again. And this is going to be a very interesting race because you want to run the top here as opposed to most other places. But can you generate enough runs to make passes elsewhere if the opportunity arises?
Yeah, IRP is weird because the top lane, yes, it's the preferred lane, but the inside could sometimes, what they do is they can sometimes ride, if they kind of drive it in and ride up, and they kind of almost like diamond the track, you can make the bottom work. But you got to also keep in mind, you can't just run into somebody and use them as your brakes, but you can make the inside work here to an extent. Although the preferred lane, you're going to see most of these guys are going to be about a lane up off the bottom, so that's probably where we're going to see most of them run. It should be interesting to watch to see how people, especially some of these guys that are starting at the back, make their way to the front and what way they decide to choose.
Absolutely, and we've got some big talent dipping down for our annual Truck Series visit to IRP, as we can bring you the starting lineup now. Agro Zhao gets his first oval pole of his career. Angel Gutierrez, after that heartbreak at Canadian Tire, lines up alongside him. But we've got 2 drivers from the upper leagues making their Truck Series debuts here today. 3 if you count the top dozen. Got Dylan Young, a Superstar veteran and a Nitro National winner in both of those series, actually. He starts 4th in the Fingai Saitomi 92 this week. Alexa Lucian, we haven't heard her name in a while, but she made a Nitro National start at Trois Rivières. She's down here making her Truck Series debut, driving the 30 for Crossroads Racing. And then Braden Varga driving a 4th Team Duke entry in the 0. He starts 12th. But I think it's going to be pretty tough to take the win away from Zhao and Gutierrez up on the front row, because they both want to win for very different reasons here.
Yeah, Gutierrez for sure. And again, I unfortunately was not here in the booth for the race of Canadian Tire, but having witnessed it, Gutierrez is going to be out for blood tonight. As far as he's been so close so many times, he definitely wants to see if he could try to take it away. And honestly, I could think of no better person to him to take it away from than would be the 98, which the 98, it's nice to see Zhao back up there. We haven't seen Zhao back up there in qualifying in a while, or near the front in a while, so it'll be interesting to see. Both of them have something to race for. Hopefully they'll give us a good battle for the win today.
So with that being said, we have 80 laps at Indianapolis Raceway Park to get us underway for our second half of the season. This is the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series from IRP. 80 laps ahead for the drivers, and the green flag is getting ready to fly to make it all happen. The field already rolling out of turn 4. They're getting the green flag now, and IRP, to get the second half of our season underway, is green. Zhao and Gutierrez lead off the line pretty even. As they head off into turn 1, Zhao's going to have the initial advantage on the inside, but it's quickly going to evolve into a top lane race. But for now, the 98 is clear of his latest challenger.
Yeah, but he better clear him quick, because Gutierrez is going to charge on that top side into 3. And for a second, he did get alongside Zhao, able to pull him now coming off of 4 as Young moves into 3rd place. Again, using that top lane, he started P4.
And he's up to P3 now. He's past Clayton Sessom, who won our last short track race at Irwindale with a bold last lap move after a tire failure for Jacob Miller. But here's the first side-by-side battle on track right now. It's Alex Sanvital. He had a great run at Canadian Tire. Brandon Smith just on his outside, and here's Alexa Lucian back into the thick of battle in 1-Up competition after quite some time away. She had a rough return to the Nitro National Series at Trois Rivières, but she's doing battle with Francois Chastain. That is for 7th place.
And pretty much the top 5 the first 4 has kind of sorted themselves out single file. Everybody else basically from 5th on back is still double file, as Gutierrez is not letting Zhao pull away, and I'm sure Gutierrez wants to stay as close to the front. He badly wants that first win, and as close as he's come, You can't keep putting yourself into that position and not have it happen. So I would expect it to happen here. If it doesn't happen today, it'll happen in the coming weeks. But Zhao currently leads the race. He's 4 laps into it. Again, the top 4 are the only ones that are actually single file at the moment. So
I think Brandon
they put a big
Smith,
gap on the pack behind him too.
Yeah, I think Brandon Smith has now cleared San Vital for 5th spot. He's about half a second up on the 43 now. But as far as San Vital, Lucian, Chastain, Jeremy Frey, and Santi Messi, they're all back there scrambling for position. It looks like the top 8 now have made it single file. Now it's the top 10 because Messi has gotten past Frey for 9th. But here is Gutierrez on a charge.
I'm telling you, there's some. You can almost see it before when you're on the grid prior to the start of the race. You can almost see it that there's a fire in his eyes. He wants to win a race, and he's got a great opportunity here tonight. And I honestly think he might have a little better truck than Zhao right now. The hardest part right now is how is he going to get around him. And we've seen how trouble it is to pass here and trying to make the lane work. So we'll see if he's got the truck to be able to make the inside work to maybe make that pass on Zhao.
But he's keeping touch with Zhao up at the front of the field, but he is a bit far back to try and make a move up the inside if he wanted to try and make a pass. But if he doesn't get the move on now, he's going to bring Dylan Young into the mix, and that is the last guy you want to have harassing your back bumper late in the race, because we know how good a driver he is with his wins in Nitro National and in Superstar competition.
And Young, again, for this being his first truck start, it's kind of amazing the experience he has through the National Series and the Superstar Series that he hasn't made a truck start until now. So it'll be interesting to see what he could do here. Currently he is 3rd. It looks like he's closing on those top 2. As we look back here,
it looks like Brian Grigsby has settled himself into the 10th position. It looks like the field's actually stacking up a little bit behind Justin Whitmer in the 91, because Grigsby's pretty much all by himself in the 10 spots. 5th through 9th of running nose to tail, as is the top 4. As we got trouble on the racetrack, it's Josh Gibson in the 5. Looks as though we had another few trucks involved in this one. But that is going to put us under caution for the first time on lap number 11. And boy, that's good timing for everyone who had fallen 3 seconds behind the leader, but it's not good for the 5 of Josh Gibson, the 7, Yojin Stoyan. He was the other truck involved, and for Josh Gibson, that's game over.
Yeah, it sucks to have something happen early to you, but that's the nature of short track racing. You don't know. It could happen anywhere, and unfortunately it happened to these guys.
Now, Gibson will probably be out of the race, and there he goes. Stoyan may be able to stay in, but he'll definitely lose a lap at this rate. I'm curious to see where this all started, because they were running near the back of the field anyway. He does pull it back out onto the racetrack, so Stoyan is going to rejoin the race, and we'll get you a replay of what happened to touch off this first caution of the day very soon indeed. So here they are down the front straightaway. Gibson was quite a ways ahead of Stoyan. Oh, but he gets help.
Oh, he got hooked, yeah.
He got hooked by the
51 going into the corner.
Yeah, and then Stoyan had nowhere to go on the top. He was stuck up top very wide with the battle he had going on. But yeah, Gibson got hooked by the 51, and that really touched off the accident. Tough break for Josh Gibson. He's been having a really bad season anyway, and he's been caught up in pretty much every wreck we've seen so far, and that certainly includes this one, which puts him out of the running early at IRP.
Yeah, the sad thing is that well, the amazing thing there is that there wasn't more trucks involved, considering the way where he came around or where he got hooked at. But again, yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, it's all about momentum in racing, and sometimes you have good luck, sometimes you have bad luck, and sometimes you take any kind of luck over or luck that the Gibson is having right now. But you just got to keep your head up, keep at it. And it's unfortunate that they're done here early.
Absolutely, but we've got a little bit of time. We've got at least 2 laps before we go back racing. And what I'm curious about now is the restart. We're going to get the restart probably about lap 16, 17, and I'm curious to see if Gutierrez can get the jump on the 98, or if Dylan Young can get the jump on both of them, because we've yet to see a single file restart tonight, and I'm very curious to see who makes the first move to the inside.
Well, curious just to see who's going to be better on the restart, because this obviously is the first restart we'll see tonight, so we'll see which one actually may have a better truck on a fire-off if we get, a rash of yellows. And it could be something to keep an eye on. Yeah, but I know Gutierrez definitely wants... He's going to take any opportunity he can to try to get at this 98, and the way that run looked like he tried, and then he kind of stalled out, so I think he knows it may be difficult to get a rounds out, and his best opportunity may be on the restart, so we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, the lights went out on the pace car. We are going green next time by, and here comes Stoyan to take his place on the inside. He's the only truck one lap down, so he would be eligible, well, the only one eligible for the free pass should we get another caution. But it's going to be Rosal leading this race, Gutierrez second, and actually, this lap truck of Stoyan may be a factor in deciding where Gutierrez is able to make a move if he tries to make one.
Yeah, because the 7's going to be on the inside, so it takes kind of that inside line unless both can... Which, given that the 7 is damaged, I bet you these two will probably roll right by him, so it may not even be a factor. But we'll see as we get the green here with Zal out front.
And it looks like Stoyan's able to keep a little bit of pace with the leaders because he's forced Gutierrez to the outside. Dylan Young tucks in behind the 7 for now. They seem confident in Stoyan's ability to keep pace, but here comes Young up to the outside trying to find a way past. Zhao got the jump on the restart. He and Gutierrez are clear of the lap traffic, but here comes Brandon Smith on the inside. He and Dylan Young are going to be teammates next season, albeit in different series, with Brandon Smith being announced as the new driver of the Nitro National car that you'll be leaving at the end of this season.
Yeah, that was kind of... I was actually kind of caught a little bit off guard by that announcement, but a great, honestly a great hire by FPM to pick up Smith. I think Smith is a good talent. I think he could do well in that car next year, and I wish him the best next year in that car too. And I'm hoping he can maybe get a win or two here in this series before he finishes up and heads up next year. And I'm telling you, Gutierrez has a truck I think can challenge Zhao. It's just he needs to try to, again, catching him's one thing and passing him's another, but he has kept pace with Zhao. Even though Zhao had a little better restart there, he was able to close that gap he lost, and now he's about a truck and a half, I think, behind him right now.
And what I've noticed in this race, I believe Dylan Young is just as good as either of those two, but the problem is he is stuck behind the 7, and now he's got the 15 to his outside as we got a 3-wide situation here with Grigsby, Whitmer, and Chastain, the 1 wisely backing out of that. We've seen what can happen in years past here when the trucks go 3 wide down the back. So he settles that dispute. Smith's still all over the back of Dylan Young for 3rd. And
Gutierrez, it looked like he was going to come to pit road there for a second. He made it dive like he was going to come to pit road. He lost a little bit of ground there to Zalek. He's almost got an issue going on there.
I'd say more than a little bit of ground, because looking at the time, he lost 0.6 of a second that lap. It looks like he's back up to speed now, but that may have been a fluke moment. But if it was, that was very bizarre.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was going to. When we cut to the shot of the backstretch, it looked like he was going to pull it to pit road for a second, and then he kind of double-check, changed his mind, and stayed on the racetrack. So I wonder if he felt something that he thought might have been off, and obviously changed his mind on it. But he lost a lot of ground to Zhao, and it's good for Zhao, but it sucks for Gutierrez.
Yeah, but he's already making gains on that. He already picked up 1/10 of a second off that deficit, as it looks like Alexander Vitale now has gotten past Brandon Smith for 4th spot. He did that on the inside. But this group is still stuck behind Yojin Stoyan, who's doing a great job playing defense, but he is driving everybody from Dylan Young back to Santi Messi. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, the 7 is not actually doing anything bad. I mean, he's running his line.
That's what makes it even more frustrating.
The problem is, it's so hard to pass here, and using this inside lane is hard to pass. As you see, the 43 now is going to try to help Young by the 7 maybe here. It's he got at least halfway alongside. Yeah, I think he's going to clear him here. So Young going to navigate the lap truck.
The problem Young has now is he's about 4.5 to 5 seconds off the lead now. So he's got to step on it if we don't get another caution. He's 5 seconds off the lead. He has got to take advantage of this clean air while he can. As Saint Vital trying to get past Stoyan as well, and the 43 is clear.
And it was kind of the same deal there. The 15 kind of helped the 43 around the 7, like the 90, like the 43 helped the 92. So I think they're figuring out a way to get around that 7. It's just you got to get some help to get by him.
But Igor Zhao has led the opening 25 laps. This is, I believe, the most laps he has ever led in a 1-Up Turbo Truck Series event. And remember, he did get his first career win this season, but that came on the road course in Austin, Texas. As we got another caution on the speedway, and Ellen Clayton Sessome's involved. He was running in 6th place before this. Now he's going to be right at the back of the field.
I'm wondering, those guys were all bunched up there behind the 7. I wonder if that had something to do with it.
But
it's unfortunate for Sessum because he was running. He was a solid top 10 truck. Maybe top 5.
And you never know. He could have won this race because we've seen his short track abilities. He won at Irwindale. He knows how to drive these tight short tracks. But unfortunately for him, as you see Santi Messi, looks like he was the other truck involved. The winner last time out of Canadian Tire. Not going to get to see the checkered flag here today. Oh, it looks like they were 3 wide. And Alexa Luchon got to the inside. It looks like it starts off at turn 4. Luchon got into Grigsby. Oh, and Luchon gets into the side of the 88. Nowhere for him to go. And then Messi just a bystander.
Yeah, again, it was them trying to navigate the 7 truck. They were trying to navigate the 7 truck. And looks like Alexa had a run on the 88 at the same time as the 88 was trying to get by. And looks like she tried to send it off in there on the inside of Clayton and got into him instead, turned him around. And unfortunately, the 8 was kind of the innocent victim caught up in it. Take a look at it one more time. Again, the 88 is in the middle. He's trying to get around the lap truck. And Alexa, I don't know if she just tried to send it off in there thinking she could get the run on the inside, and she just hooked him. And unfortunately, the 8 truck caught up in it as well.
Yeah, and he was a winner last time the trucks took to the track at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And you really got to feel for both those guys because it wasn't anything either of them did. I think it's just a matter of Alexa Luchon trying to relearn car-to-car combat, and I guess it's just taking a little longer than we may have expected.
Meanwhile, Zhao has pretty much continued he's led every lap of this race. Now, Gutierrez is going to get another shot here on this restart, and he most likely is not going to have a lap truck to his inside now. So
oh no, because Stoyan got the free pass.
He's going to have a little more of an option here to try to get at Zhao. We'll see what he does on this restart as they'll get the one to go here. And we'll see if he actually can keep pace. Again, Zhao got the little bit of a jump the previous restart. See if Gutierrez can actually get the jump see if he can get a jump this time, and see if he can make up for that whatever that little issue was that he had, that he lost the ground that he did.
One thing I'm a little surprised by so far in this race, we're almost at halfway, is DJ Curtis. He started all the way back in the 24th position. I believe that's his worst qualifying effort of the season, and he has just had no pace today. This is honestly, he could finish out of the top 10 for the first time on pace that we've ever seen him do in this series.
Curtis is known for being more of a road course guy than really a short track guy, so maybe just that experience as we get the restart here. See if Gutierrez can actually keep pace with Zhao this time, as Young looks like he wanted to peak there.
Because it's clearly it's clearly not a problem with the truck that Curtis is experiencing, because Dylan Young's driving it the exact same thing as Gutierrez dives down the inside of Igor Zhao. He needs to make this move stick.
This is the one guy that I think could maybe make the inside work. He's trying as he is to the inside of Zhao as they come down the front stretch. Young's going to try to take advantage of this too as he goes to the high lane to try to take second.
See, the problem for Gutierrez is if you're going to make that move, you need to make it immediately and then run. because if you get stuck on the inside for more than a lap or two, these guys are just going to gang up on you and drive right past.
They have a little bit of assistance coming because this 43 is stuck into the end. Okay, no, it looks like he's going to try to go to the top. Zhao has room to try to.
Here comes Smith, though. He's going to try.
Second, he's going to try to get in front of the 43. Smith is going to try to help the 72 now.
With Lucian behind him and Grigsby behind her. But, yeah, Gutierrez is clear, but he did lose a spot there in third place. Now Dylan Young all over the back bumper of Aguo Zhao trying to get the lead here.
So, yeah, it looks like you can make the inside, but you need help. You need somebody behind you, and you need basically to be the truck on the outside be by itself, is what it looks like. Because Gutierrez looked like he timed it right. He got such a great run to Zhao, ducked to the inside, looked like he was going to possibly clear him off before. He just didn't quite clear him enough. And as we saw, he lost the spot out of it to Young, as Smith trying to see if he can get Lucian here.
Yeah, and this is actually Lucian trying to get around Smith. Now, we did see Lucian cause that accident earlier, but I'd say for her first truck start and her first start on an oval in quite a long time, doing a pretty good job hanging in there in the top 10 like this and almost cracking the top 5. As we got caution on the speedway for a third time, and Reggie Fogelman, Ludovic Charette, Cal Farrell, the ones involved in this one.
Cal Farrell is one of those ones. He's actually right on the on the good end of the playoff grid right now.
And Andrew Lyons is on the bad end, and he's involved in this too.
So, yeah, possible implications for these guys. Again, Farrell came in actually here tied for 9th. I have to double check that, but that's what it looked like I read when I checked them last, is that Farrell was tied for 9th. But, yeah, again, two guys that, again, it's a matter of, you don't want to have issues this late. I mean, we only got 2 races to go after this event. So, you start showing up your things, dotting your T's and crossing your I's, so.
Yeah, well, Charette, it looks like he's able to continue after a bit of repair. Lyons might be done for today, as Cal Farrell, Lyons just pulled out of the race. Cal Farrell comes down pit road. We'll see if he's able to continue or not. Looks like they're going to try, though. They're going to try and get to work on the 16, see if they can get him back out. As Charette returns to the race, he'll be a lap down now. But
yeah, it looks like they removed the hood on the 16, so it looks like he will continue.
As we'll get you a replay of what happened to trigger this, which looks to be our biggest accident of the night so far here on lap 38. So it starts back here with Andrew Lyons. He was on Janeda's inside. Ludovic Charette gets a run up the top. Is it going to be a similar? Oh yeah,
similar to what the previous.
Oh, and he hit a spot in the wall there that got him stuck, and it tipped the 78 onto its side there. Not what you want to see, but there are certain entry points to this racetrack, like certain track gates, and it looks like he hit one of those, and that's what put him out of the race. Reggie Fogelman, a bystander.
As we'll take a look at it again, the 78 was on the inside, 31 gets a good run, comes to the top lane. And it's almost as if they try to go for the same spot on the racetrack in the corners. Like the 31 tried to turn into the corner, 78 went to move up to make his line into the corner, and they came together.
So that is what put Andrew Lyons out of this race, and he was not that far away from the playoff cut line going into tonight. Cal Farrell, as you said, was actually above it, so that's going to hurt both these guys in their attempts to make the postseason. But with that, we are back to the live feed now. Cal Farrell, Ludovic Charette's actually the only one a lap down now, despite all that. Lyons and Fogelman both out of the race. Charette a lap down. Everybody else still running on the lead lap. So we're going to get a restart probably this time by, and I'm curious to see now if Dylan Young can make something happen with the 98.
And also, we just crossed the halfway point in this race as well, so into the second half of this race. Again, a different challenger now for Zhao in Young. And we'll see if Young can kind of learn maybe from what Gutierrez did and see if he can maybe do it better.
That's the plan anyway, as Aguo Zhao has clinched the most laps led point of this race, which is important to him. He needs all the points he can get in his attempt to claw back towards the playoffs. He entered this race 18th in the points, but he wasn't that far off the cut line either, so going to be interesting to see if he can make any inroads on that as the pace truck pulls off. It is Zhao and Charette leading us to the restart. It's going to take place on lap 42.
They're back green, and Young able to stay right on Zhao's bumper as they get through 1 and 2. Looks like both are going to possibly clear the lap truck here. Zhao for sure. Young still going to be side by side with the lap truck, because Gutierrez is actually going to try to use the lap truck.
But that's going to let San Vital to his inside, or outside. So San Vital trying to get by Gutierrez up top. Brandon Smith, Alexa Luchon trying to help the 72 out. But Alex San Vital looks like he is now through into third place, past Angel Gutierrez, and trying to get past Ludovic Charette to try and clear him and set off after Dylan Young. Remember, this driver had a great run at Canadian Tire last time.
What was interesting there is Young, until he actually had the 43 behind him, was actually side by side with the 31. He couldn't get clear of the 31. And again, it might be that thing I'm saying is if you can get help on that inside and get somebody hung out on the top, you can get by them using the inside.
Certainly, it's just easier said than done for sure, as the top 4 have started to pull away from Brandon Smith, who's just now cleared Ludovic Charette in the 31. Now Brian Grigsby in the 08 trying to find his way around the outside, and he does. That puts the 08 truck in 6th place, which would be his best finish since moving to Fair & Co. Racing. As his old truck, Dylan Young, driving it now, the 92, he is now about a second in the rears of Aguo Zhao, who is just pulling away once again.
The other thing, too, with Grigsby is with DJ Curtis not running all that well right now, and him needing maybe trying to make up some points before we get to where the playoffs start. This could be a good kind of point day for Grigsby as well, running in P6.
He's doing a good job. He's running about 3.5 seconds off. San Vital having a strong run in the 43. Gutierrez behind him has potentially some issues developing for our race leader, Aguo Zhao. We're gathering his telemetry as we speak, and because his engine is sounding different going down the straightaway, and we can confirm now that Aguo Zhao, race leader for the entirety of the day, has lost 4th gear in that race truck.
That's big. I mean, he's led every lap to this point. Again, he needs every point he can get with where he is in the standings and trying to make the playoffs. But man, to have an issue like that, especially 4th gear here, I mean, granted you're probably not in it very long, but it's still something you don't want to have some sort of issue. And even if it's something where you can keep running, what's that say? Is the transmission going to last the rest of the race for him?
Yeah, I think the concern isn't about lap time, because he's still able to keep ahead of Dylan Young by using 3rd gear all the way around this racetrack. My concern is longevity. Can this engine last for the rest of this race? We still have 30 laps to go.
I wouldn't say so much as the engine as much as the transmission. If you've already
definitely
got a gear broke in the transmission, how much damage is that broken gear going to do the transmission? Can the transmission last the rest of the distance?
Because that engine, I say the engine because that transmission is making that engine produce high revs throughout the entirety of this lap, because you're stuck in 3rd gear the whole time. I'm just wondering if that's going to be able to hold on, because it's not affecting him lap time wise. He's actually gained time on Dylan Young. My question is reliability. Will that engine and transmission, will it make it to lap 80?
Hey, what is that truck? If he can handle this race around here and continue to do what he's doing with basically a broken transmission, you got to tip your hat to that race team too, because they have an issue with the transmission. The fact that truck is still out there leading the race, able to hold off Dylan Young, who is a superstar driver right now. I'm telling you, that's something right now.
That is certainly commendable.
That's impressive.
But for Aguo Zhao, he's just got to manage. He's got to go into engine management mode here, even if it means giving up a little bit of time to the 92. Just try to stay ahead of him. Give up the margin. Just keep ahead of him at all costs. Try and see if you can make it the rest of the way, because it's not going to get any better. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just hoping that it doesn't do any more damage before the end of the race and you can nurse it home. So As we see, Young is close the gap too. So he has been has been able to close the gap. So we'll see what Young can do with this. I guess you could say wounded 98 truck.
And while we were talking about this, Angel Gutierrez also got past Alex Santi on the bottom with no help and is now pulled away by about 0.7 of a second. So keep an eye on the 72, especially if these two start to battle.
Yeah, I honestly think our three best trucks right now in this race are the top three right now: Zhao, Young, and Gutierrez. And it's just going to be a matter of, we know the 98 is wounded. Can anybody take advantage of the fact that truck is wounded, and who is it?
I mean, Dylan Young's a good candidate. He's right on the bumper at a 98.
Yeah, Young may be the one there now, but we saw Gutierrez doing this for much of the early part of the race too. So, who knows? It may not even be somebody we're talking about at this point. You never know.
Because one name I did notice who snuck his way up into the top 10 without any of us noticing, the fourth Team Duke entry for this race, number 0, Braden Varga, making his Truck Series debut tonight. And he explicitly stated his goal for entering these truck races. He wants to be the first man to win all 3 one-up series in a career. He already has a national win. He already has a superstar win. This is the last box he needs to check, and he's doing a good job so far. Not quite where he wants to be, but still in 8th place.
Yeah, that would definitely be a mark, which I believe you're the stat guy, so you could check this for me, but I believe nobody actually has done that, have they?
Nope, no one. Varga would be the first. Actually, so would Dylan Young. If he can get by Zhao, he'd be the first one to do it.
So yeah, it's definitely a mark. And I know when the news was announced this week that I'm going to be going to the Superstar Series next year. That's definitely going to be a goal on my mind, is to try to do the Triple Two. I haven't been a winner in NS and obviously a champion here, so everybody wants to do it. As Young is looking to the inside now.
Oh,
he's got to run.
Zhao turned on the afterburners on off that corner, trying to hold off the 92, and he seems to have been successful in doing so. And with these two fighting like that has brought Gutierrez into frame.
Yeah, Gutierrez is now back to being a factor, and again, we know the 98 is wounded, but if the wounded 98 slows up the 92 enough, hello Gutierrez, he'll be right back in this fight.
So far, so good, though. We have 20 laps to go now from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Egor Zhao has led all 60 laps, but we know he is missing 4th gear in that truck. Can it last the rest of the race? Dylan Young runs 2nd, trying to become the first driver to win to achieve the triple in one-up competition. Angel Gutierrez, we know how long he's been waiting for that win. Could it come here tonight? Everyone else is quite a ways behind. Alex Santi 3 seconds off. Brendan Smith 4.5.
Yeah, these 3 guys under a blanket. At this point, it is a 3-truck race between these 3. And honestly, you could pick any one of these 3, actually. You'd probably have a good case for as being able to pull this off. Obviously, Zhao is still dealing with that transmission issue, but he's so far been able to hold off the charge of Young and that earlier charge by Gutierrez. So,
and keep in mind as well, they're going to start to catch lap traffic here in a minute. So if these 3 start to get into lap traffic at the end of this race, what will that do to shape the outcome?
You see, that's the thing that would play a role with the lap traffic, is them taking the line away from Zhao and making them forcing these guys to run the inside possibly, and that could be where somebody gets past or does the passing.
Absolutely. Oh, and there it goes. There it goes for Egor Zhao. We saw this one.
Didn't last.
We saw it coming, didn't we?
Gutierrez to the outside of Young.
They're going to try and make him...
Trying to take advantage of Young being slowed down because of the Zhao blowing up.
Looks like Young is able to hold off Gutierrez for the moment. But for Egor Zhao, he dominated this race. He led the first 63 laps. Blows the motor on lap 64. We saw it coming. We knew he was missing 4th gear. He was so close to bringing it home. Not going to happen.
Yeah, they rode it for as long as they could until it went south. And unfortunately for Gutierrez, or unfortunately for Zhao, it's the end of the night, and that sucks for that 98 team. And unfortunately, it looks like their hopes for the playoffs may have just ended tonight.
Well, the thing about that is, he's had some of his competition fall out of this race already. Cal Farrell, for example, Andrew Lyons, for example. He's going to outscore both of them. So never say never, but it is looking a little grim for the 98. They're going to have to do really well at Watkins Glen next time out to try and make some inroads. But that means that...
I was going to say, what you just said, that's a road course. His lone win this season was on a road course, so...
And he was running top 5 at Canadian Tire before he had a pit issue there. And here's Dylan Young, our new race leader, trying to become the first driver to achieve the triple. He's caught lap traffic. Will that impact him enough to let Gutierrez through?
Well, right now, Young is stuck running the bottom of the racetrack, and Gutierrez has closed that gap. I mean, he is here. So to answer that question, I think Gutierrez is going to make a challenge, and he's going to go high here and try to get the lead here with 12 laps to go.
Which of these two will it be? Or will it be one of these two? Because look in the background, that red truck of Alex Sanvital with Igor Zhao out of the race. Now, that is the highest running Mercedes in the race, Alex Sanvital. As these two continue to battle for the race lead, that can bring the 43 into the mix.
Even in this lap traffic, these two are definitely still racing hard for this lead. And Gutierrez is trying, basically, wherever the 92 is not running is where Angel is trying to put that truck, because I noticed when Young was stuck on the low side, Gutierrez ran the top. When Young went back to the top, Gutierrez tried to run the bottom to see if he could get around him. They got held up by this lap truck, the 51, and he lost a little bit of ground there to Young. See if he can try to close it back up again.
The problem is he's having a very hard time trying to get past this 51, and he's having such a hard time with it that it's brought Sanvital back into the play for second place, and it might even bring Brandon Smith and Brian Grigsby into play as well. But for Dylan Young, he's already stretched out his lead to about a second, so we come to 9 laps to go.
Young's got to be careful. He's got to tiptoe right now. Right now, I think he's probably in a good position to run this top lane and kind of follow this 88 as long as the 88 is keeping pace, because he doesn't want to be held up. Because if he gets held up, then it'll pull these guys right back to him. So he's got to be careful with that.
Yeah, and Gutierrez is really struggling now to get past the 51 truck, as it looks like now Stoyan has been lapped again by Dylan Young. He's back to being a lap down. Next up for him is Clayton Sessom and Cal Farrell. It's going to be interesting to see, because now Young's gone to the inside.
Gutierrez got clear of the lap truck.
But now he's got another one to deal with.
We'll see what happens as we come to 7 to go. It is Young in position right now. It looks like Brandon Smith is going to get the 43 for third.
Good run from Brandon Smith, and he's needed one, honestly, the way the last few races have gone. But it's Dylan Young, now 7 laps away from racing history, trying to become the first driver to win all three series. But he's got Angel Gutierrez back there waiting in the wings, trying to strike, but he does have to get past Stoyan to make it happen. Dylan Young, 6 laps away from a date with history.
And Young's best friend right now is that 7 truck between him and the 72. Any truck he puts between him and that 72, that's another buffer. That's another truck that Gutierrez has to navigate. As long as Young can keep that there, I think he might be in the best possible position here.
Now, if he can get past the 88, that'll be another good.
But he's losing ground here. The 7 is kind of helping the 88. Young cannot seem to get around the 88 at the moment.
Looks like we've had an incident somewhere around this racetrack that's kicked up a little bit of smoke, but no caution for it. We stay green. Whatever happened down in turn 1, they were able to clear it and get rolling again. So we're still green.
And again, here's what I said before. If you get a truck to the high lane, 2 trucks to the inside, they can make a run around the inside. It's holding up this 92. Here comes the 72 back to his rear bumper again.
And that raises another point. We're in the window now where if a caution comes out, it's over. You don't get another chance. So Gutierrez has to make hay while the sun shines, as we're coming to 3 laps to go.
Now he's going to see, he's got to try to clear this 7 truck and get a clear lane to get a shot at this 92, and he does have the 7 cleared here, so now it's no lap trucks between him and the 92, but he may run out of laps as it's only 3 to go now, as they'll be coming to 2 to go.
Yeah, he's got a big gap to make up on Dylan Young, and Dylan Young is way too good a driver to make a mistake. So it's going to come down to raw talent out of the 72. It's become the 2 laps of racing to go.
See what happens. But the lap trucks are side by side ahead of Young too, so this is gonna allow Gutierrez to close the gap.
Yeah, there's 4 of them right there. Farrell, Sessom, Charette, and Ricky Freeman Jr. We're coming to the white flag this time. Dylan Young got about a car length and a half over Angel Gutierrez. This is not going to be a finish you want to miss.
Angel he's there. He's to his back bumper. The question is, does he have a lane to try to get around the 92?
He sure does. He's going to the outside.
The high lane.
He's going to the outside. He's going to hope that the 16 has enough speed to help him past the 92, who's led the last 16 laps. Down in the turn 3.
This is going to be close. One lap truck in front of each of them. Who's going to get the run here out of 4? I think he's going to get him. He's going to get him.
Gutierrez off of 4. The long wait is over for Angel Gutierrez. The Mexican on the last lap of the race gets his first career win, finally, in the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series with a last lap pass. Same story, reversed outcome. Remember, he got passed on the last lap of Canadian Tire. He's the one that turned the trick here tonight.
I guess you could say it was karma for last week. I mean, the racing gods took one away from him last race out at Canadian Tire on the last lap. They gave him one back on the last lap here. And again, it was a matter, there was one lap truck in front of each of them, and whoever could get the run out of 4. And Angel got such a great run there out of 4. Just enough to be able to nip Young there at the line.
This is going to be a night he's not going to forget anytime soon for Angel Gutierrez. He'll be able to stand tall, stand proud with it. This is just a great moment for Angel Gutierrez. He's been waiting so long for that first career win. Felt like he should have got it last time, but this I feel like is the better way to get it.
I tell you what, there's probably not going to be a fan in this place that isn't going to be upset to see this. I mean, this guy's tried so hard this season to win a race. You could see it in his face. He wanted to win one. Maybe not exactly the way he wanted to win one, but hey, last lap pass, you take them as you can get them, right?
Absolutely. So, from Ryan Griffin and from myself as well, we say goodnight from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. We'll see you again in a few weeks at Watkins Glen International. But for Angel Gutierrez, it's finally come. His first career win, and he only led 1 lap of the race to do it, but that's the one you want to lead to secure victory here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.